Good morning. It is 7:06 a.m. on Wednesday, January 6th, 2016. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. I have very poor bedtime discipline. I had this whole grand scheme yesterday. I was tired at work and it was making me grumpy, and I was thinking, this is not good. I need to go to bed early. I need to really just reset my schedule, and even if I'm not ready to go to sleep, I just need to go and lie there and just, I'll be bored if I have to, but I have to give myself the opportunity to get as much sleep as possible and work on shifting my schedule. And then you know what happened? I didn't do any of that. I stayed up late again, and then I didn't get enough sleep. And then, in my bleary, half awake state, I set my alarm back further, and now I have taken a whole chunk out of my intended morning routine. Also, it's cold outside. But these things happen in life. Little setbacks, you can't let it destroy your will to persevere. And so, I shall carry on. I shall heave this self-imposed burden up on my shoulder and walk into the future. AeroGarden update. The basil has sprouted. Both the Genovese basil and the Thai basil have little teeny little sprouts coming up. The Thai basil is the winner so far. Has maybe 6 little tiny leaves, very small still. Has not even risen above the actual little hole that it's going to come up out of, but I can see it down in there. Genovese basil is maybe a little bit behind that, maybe 3 or 4 leaves, that sort of thing. A little tiny sprout. Also, the mint plant has a tiny little, barely there green shoot coming up out of its little spongy seed pod bed. I need to figure out a better way to show this to you guys on the video. Maybe I don't need to do it now. I'll wait until there's a little bit more to see visually. But AeroGarden remains cool. I get to simultaneously feel like I'm succeeding in growing plants without the hard work sacrifice of having to actually do very much. It's a pretty sweet gig, really. So, my serial story continues apace. There's episode 6 posts today. But, my intended plan was to write some of tomorrow's installment this morning before work, and now I don't have time to do that anymore. Thanks, brain. Luna is squeaking her toy some more, just to let you guys all know that she's still around. She's hanging out. She's doing good. She appreciated going back to bed after I reset the alarm. Of course, having woken up a little bit and then going back to bed, she had to, do the whole reorient herself, lick herself a little bit more, climb on top of me, and get me to scratch her ears and so on, which meant that even with that extra hour of alarm time, I didn't probably fully take advantage of all 60 minutes. It's okay. I make these little sacrifices because she brings me joy. Speaking of joy, I was reading an article recently. It was, someone who had only just recently seen the Pixar movie Inside Out, and they were enthusiastic about it, and so they wrote all sorts of thoughts about it. Nothing especially profound, except that it just made me realize that I want to watch that movie again. I think storytelling is important for us as human beings because when it's at its best, it can give us mental examples of how to think about things and how to feel about things. For example, one of the things that I kind of like and respect the Hunger Games series for is the way it depicts, rebellion against a totalitarian state, and how it's frequently not all that simple. And just because you've got someone who is fighting against the state with you, that doesn't make that person a good person necessarily. And it also could be that not every single person on the other side is a bad person. And war is generally awful. And so it doesn't necessarily mean that your effort to depose the state is a bad one necessarily, but it also means that things are complex and messy. And I like that a story depicting that gains a lot of popular acceptance, and it's just it's a layer of understanding that can be applied to the real world. Likewise, Inside Out, I think, can do that with the complexity of emotion and recognition that we have this tendency to always want to avoid sadness, but sometimes it is the appropriate emotional response to something, and it can allow you to empathize more and deepen your relationships with other people who might be going through some hard times. Gosh, that got all somber. I have to take a shower and go to work, you guys. I'm late. It's always irritating when the person to blame for something is yourself. I could just sit here blaming myself some more, or I could go get ready for work. I think I'll split the difference and blame myself while I get ready for work. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow for 5 more minutes.